All right, boys, daily market outlook for the euro, the pound, and the DXY. Let's dive straight into it. So we're going to start off here with the Forex Factory. So we have 8:30 a.m. news, we have PPI and unemployment claims. Basically, this means that New York session I will not be trading until this news is over. And then London session, we might have some potential scalps or short-term trades, but post 8:30 is going to be the highest probability trading moment in my opinion for today. So let's dive into the chart. Euro USD monthly time frame. We have just missed this monthly BPI if you zoom in on your chart. However, we have tapped into this monthly fair value gap, which is a sign that we could potentially now see a bit of a retracement in this weekly candle in these next 2 days and overall maybe even next week. So let's dive into the weekly time frame. The weekly time frame has displaced with this weekly strong candle. We have now swept this liquidity point, and after a pullback, after a push higher, what we're expecting is a bit of a pullback or a larger pullback. So this is basic market structure. When we're at a high, we want a higher low, and then potentially another higher high. So all I'm expecting right now is for a pullback. Let's look at this weekly candle on the daily time frame. So what the daily time frame has done, Monday, basically nothing. Tuesday, nice expansion up. We swept the liquidity point. CPI day, really disappointing. I would have thought that it would bring us more clarity. And then currently we are Thursday, and what I want price to do is, as you can see, I've marked out this daily gap. I want price to sweep the previous daily low if we are going to see an expansion higher. If not, it'll just overall be a target for shorts. I've marked this out. This is a potential scenario if we're going to expand higher. Let's drop down to the 4-hour time frame. So on the 4-hour time frame, I've marked out this daily zone. We have this liquidity point, this 4-hour liquidity, and we have, this 4-hour zone, right? So in this 4-hour fair value gap. So if we're looking to go for longs, this 4-hour refinement zone in this daily zone, I'm sorry guys, in this daily zone could be a potential area for longs. Overall, this daily zone, so if price just taps into it right here like this, we could potentially start seeing the next push up. The other option is that price taps all the way down into here, and then we get the next push up. So that's my bias for longs. The pullback has been corrective, so I'm keeping that in mind. If we break below this low, so not even with a body candle, if we simply trade below this low, this could be a sign that we're now going to be trading the overall pullback, like trading down into these lows. But until then, I'm just going to follow the momentum. CPI wasn't very clear, so longs is a possibility, right? Let's drop down to the 15-minute time frame now. So 15-minute time frame. As I've explained, we've had this impulse move up, and now we are doing a slow correction. What I do want to mark out quickly is we do have SMT here between the euro and the pound. So right here, if you look at the pound, that's same SMT right here. So that is a sign that we could potentially be seeing a pullback. On the pound, I reckon we might even target these lows, come into this overall area right here, this order block, this order block here. So I am expecting a bit of bearishness coming into the session. This is the most stutters or whatever I've done in a trading video. But we have this low, which is a liquidity point for me. I don't want to long anything before this low gets taken. And so yeah, that is the 4-hour time frame, 15-minute time frame, just same thing. This is where it gets interesting, right? So a candle can only do one of two things, obviously, trade higher or trade lower, and it always needs a bottom or a top wick. So if we are expecting this candle to be a bullish candle, what we want to see is price open, create the bottom wick, whatever, we get SMT down here or something, and then expand higher and close. As of right now, this is looking like this is what price is going to do. So this is a low that I'm waiting for price to be traded into. We have accumulation here. This is the potential manipulation. Trade into here, get our entry confirmation, entry model, and then potentially we're going to displace higher, right? That's just a possibility. I'm just laying out possibilities for you guys. This would be the trade, and then we're looking to trade price higher, right? So that's it for the euro. Let's go to the pound now, starting off always on the monthly time frame. So the pound on the monthly time frame is actually not much to say. We have been reacting to this order block right here, and now we've displaced lower, shifting in market structure without a body candle closure, which isn't ideal, but we have still shifted in market structure, and now we could be potentially creating the pullback before the next push lower. This monthly candle still does not have a bottom wick, and I've marked that out. I've mentioned that in every video. There is a possibility right now that we are just creating the top wick before reversing. Let's go down to the weekly time frame. So on the weekly time frame, what the pound has done, same thing as the euro, we've had a displacement higher. We are now creating this sort of doji. This might be a doji overall. This weekly candle might be a whole doji, which means that this isn't the best conditions to be trading for this week, right? And we have this weekly gap, this weekly breaker, and this weekly demand area, which is a potential area for a pullback before we're looking to go for longs. Let's go down to the daily time frame. So on the daily time frame, not the clearest daily time frame at all. Okay, so knowing that on the pound or on any asset, if the daily time frame is not clear, it probably means that today is not going to be a good trading session. We want clarity on the daily in order for us to understand what the lower time frames are doing. There's no point in going down to the lower time frames if the daily chart is not super clear. So let's go back to the euro on the daily chart. On the euro, the daily chart to me is much clearer because we have this gap right here and that daily zone, as I've mentioned. The pound, not as clear. I'm still going to go down to the 4-hour time frame for those of you that are looking for me to analyze the 4-hour time frame. So we have this low, which I'm looking to see price trade to if we're going to see the next expansion higher. So potentially just a scenario here, what price does is come down into here and then we get the next expansion up. But because the daily time frame is not clear, this is not a high probability or very likely scenario, right? I'm waiting for the daily time frame to be clear. Let's drop down to the 15-minute time frame now. So 15-minute time frame, overall, this pullback has been very corrective, as you can see it right here. And we're just in this range, basically. This range right here is the range that we are trading in. I'm not going to suggest any trading setups right now for this because it's just not clear, right? So fuck the pound. Let's go to the DXY on the monthly time frame. If you don't know this yet, the DXY to me is the most important chart to be analyzing to understand the euro and the pound. But I know that some of you guys are watching this as you're coming into the session, so I analyze euro and the pound first before the DXY. But this is where the video becomes key, basically, right? So DXY, we've mitigated this monthly BPR. This is a sign that we might get a bit of a reversal. Let's drop down to the weekly time frame. On the weekly time frame, we have swept this weekly liquidity point, and we have just about closed this weekly gap, mitigated this weekly demand zone or order block, or whatever you want to call it. It's the same shit. And now we could potentially be seeing a bit of a pullback, right? So let's drop down to the daily time frame. Same thing here, all right? It's not super clear. What I will say is this low looks weak, so we might get a deeper mitigation before the overall pullback. So something like this, trade down, trade it up, we trade down, shift in market structure, get the pullback, create liquidity up here, and then we go lower. That's just a scenario. Let's drop down to the 4-hour time frame. So if we do want to see bullish prices before, like maybe this is the low of the week, but if we're expecting bullish prices, what we would want to see, right, is price to body close above this with a nice 4-hour like engulfing massive candle, and then we could be more confident that these lows are now going to go and that the pullback is beginning. But this high is just the first signal. This would be right here, the second high in my opinion. Once price breaks above this high, we're pretty sure that the pullback is now starting on the daily and on the weekly time frame. So I've marked this high. This high you can mark out as well if you believe that this high is worth noting. If not, then wait for the other high that I marked out just before. And yeah, so we have equal highs up here. Definitely worth noticing. And we have this massive gap right here, which might be a 1 hour zone. No, a 30-minute zone. Yeah, there we go. That's our 30-minute zone. So if we're looking to trade shorts, ideally, like I'm waiting for price to trade above this high. So this high would be the equivalent of that low. So that would be the same liquidity point. So I would want to see price trade above this high. I am going to mark out this 30-minute zone that we have right here as well. But it's not a strong zone. The reason is because it did not create any shift or any market structure shift. It did not break below any low. If it would be a strong zone, oh my fucking god, my apologies. If it would be a strong zone, it would have broken below this low, right? But it has not. So potentially we might break above this, come back here, even retest the NWOG, so the new week opening gap, and then get a push lower. That's it for today's video. I will see you in tomorrow's daily market outlook. Hopefully we have a bit more clarity. The main pair that I'll be looking at right now is the euro for potential longs, because I am seeing this as an accumulation. And because CPI did not give us like a really bearish sign or swept this high and then gave us a doji or something, I'm not going to try and be the magician here or call the top, and I'm just going to trade in line with price. So that's it. See you in the next one.